The Make in India is under attack right now.
We want to make India a global manufacturing destination.
Oh, there are nice biscuits, turn the back, and behind is written Made in India. And then they'll show you the most dirty factory in India where people have no shoes and they bake some cookies, with their feet and everything and that. Well, it's not the same company at all. All those countries, they respect India and they are scared of India. One of those countries is China, but for the others, they don't want a new China.
So you were saying that there are 6 countries control the world, and India is not one of them.
If you look at the countries who are attacking India right now, with hundreds of guys, with computers, with money, with software and everything, when they wake up in the morning, they want to harm India. Azerbaijan has the best narrative psyops guys in the world. Their army is worth nothing, geopolitics worth nothing, and they do the most incredible operations in the world.
What do they have against India?
They don't want India to thrive at all. They have a big problem with India. We have much bigger enemies in the world. There is this concept in US, for the Americans, what is mine is mine, what is yours is negotiable. Washington Post is one of the worst media against India. They trash India left, right, center. They write horrible articles about India. In fact, India is very popular on TikTok, in the bad way. I have a prediction. I think the next thing that will happen will be attack on Indian.
इस पॉडकास्ट को शुरू करने से पहले मेरी आपसे एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट है। सब्सक्राइब बटन और बेल आइकन को क्लिक करिए, क्योंकि आपके ऐसा करते ही आप हमारी कम्युनिटी के पार्ट बन जाते हो, हमारी कम्युनिटी बड़ी हो जाती है और ट्रस्टेबल हो जाती है। ये स्पेशली इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है हमारे गेस्ट के लिए, जिनको हम बहुत मेहनत से अप्रोच करते हैं, और वो जब आते हैं पॉडकास्ट पे तो अपने सालों की इन्फॉर्मेशन आपके साथ शेयर करते हैं, जिसको आप आराम से घर में बैठ के सुन पाते हो। उन गेस्ट के लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है कि कौन सुनेगा उनको, कितने लोग सुनेंगे, और ये सवाल का जवाब आप बहुत आसानी से दे सकते हो सब्सक्राइब करके। आपको सिर्फ इतना करना है, बाकी हम देख लेंगे। तो आइए चलते हैं, देखते हैं ये पॉडकास्ट। So the work that you do, so you were saying that there are 6 countries which really control the world in a not so good way, and India is not one of them.
No,
right?
India is peaceful.
India is peaceful, right? But what is it that these countries all over the world, what is India's impression? We can go country by country, we can go topic by topic, but tell us, what is the narrative of India worldwide?
So there is a difference between what the secret services of those countries think and how they want to portray India. So all those countries, they respect India and they are scared of India for few reasons. One is the growth. One of those countries is China, but for the others, they don't want a new China. I can name those countries. It's the UN Security Council. So you have Russia, US, UK, France, and China. And then you have Israel on top of that, because they are very close to US and everything. So those countries, they missed the growth of China, and they don't want to do the same mistake another time. There was a very high American officer who came to India recently and said, we won't do the same mistake again.
I've heard that, yeah. So what do they think? I get it that they don't want India to rise up because they fear the what Indians can do will be similar to Chinese. But is that what their problem is, or they have a different impression of India?
No, people who have access to all the data about India are impressed by India.
Okay.
Because of the execution in India, the growth and everything and that. But when you attack a country, you don't attack on the truth. You attack on, other things. And most of the attacks on India are on good things. So when you do propaganda against India, you don't attack the bad side. That's a fundamental of narrative warfare.
Yeah, you want to kill the good things.
You want to kill the good things.
Yeah.
Because anyone in the world can understand that any country has good sides and bad sides.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
If I take even a country with a very positive image, like Japan, people love Japanese culture.
Yeah.
But we know that they have a very toxic war culture.
Yeah.
They are very on themselves. They have flaws also.
Yeah.
But it's fine because they have such a nice part also that we accept that. Even US, we appreciate their entrepreneurship, their innovation and everything, but we know they have ghettos, we know they have, poverty and everything. They have not a great cuisine, for example. No one is dreaming about American food.
Yeah, no. They don't have any food.
They don't have any cuisine. Sorry, guys. But it's a balance.
Yeah.
So when you want to attack a country like India, you won't attack India on, there is pollution in Delhi. There is pollution in Delhi. No one can say the other way around. So that's already done. Like people will know that. But you attack a country on good sides. So for example, India, one of the best cuisine in the world. As a vegetarian, the best cuisine in the world.
Yeah.
So you attack cuisine. So how do you attack? And there are Indian restaurants. In fact, even in countries where you have a very small Indian diaspora, you go in East Europe, there are no Indians, but you will still find few Indian restaurants.
Sure.
Some are managed by non-Indians, by Pakistanis or Bangladeshis, but some are managed by Indians.
Because everybody likes Indian food.
Everyone likes Indian food.
Yeah.
It's tasty. It's it's complex and it's generous. You eat a lot.
Yeah.
So everyone loves Indian food.
Yeah.
So you attack that. So how do you attack Indian food? You start a campaign, started in November 2022 on social media, mostly on TikTok, showing that Indian food is not clean. Even if you like the taste, it's dirty. You'll be sick.
Show that Indian food is not clean.
It's not clean. It's filthy and everything. So for that, you go in streets in India and you show like street food where someone is cooking with a foot in the whatever, which is not true sometimes. It's just AI videos. So you had those thousands and thousands of videos showing dirty Indian street food.
How dirty it can be while making. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
And they make specifically videos of that.
Yeah, and there are some of the most viral videos on TikTok. Like some videos have 80, 90, 100 million views.
So you're saying that this is an agenda?
For sure, it's an operation.
So the agenda is that because Indian cuisine is so loved, so kill that impression.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And through that, what will they achieve?
You lower the image of India. So if you have a bad image, you can do anything. India's economy is like this, tourism is going down. Investments, not a lot of foreign investment. Most of foreign investment in India are from like very large companies or NRIs.
Yeah.
You will corner the voice of India on the diplomatic scene outside.
Just because of this food.
It's not only the street food. So basically there are 3 pillars against India chosen in media and 3 pillars in social media. They are not the same. In traditional media, so I have I publish every month. I read all the articles written about India in the world. So I can tell you every month how many good articles, neutral articles, bad articles have been written about India, from which country talking about what. Wow. And what is interesting is we are roughly at 93% negative articles overall about India, which is the level of Somalia. We are at a very, very low level.
And what they write, is it true?
Yeah, mostly it's true. They don't have that many fake news, but it's a lot of cherry picking. Which means, okay, India has a moon mission. I won't talk about it. There is a donkey who entered a kirana somewhere in the corner of Madhya Pradesh. I'll talk about it. So, was it true? Yeah, it was true, but is it interesting? Not really. And it will show India as a...
Is it like a big deal? No, not really. But they'll make a big deal.
They'll make it a big deal, yeah. I'll give you something that, for example, was extremely popular in foreign media. I don't know if you remember, 2 years ago, there was a government official in India who dropped his phone in a water tank or something, not a water tank, like a basin or something like this. And he asked people to remove all the water, thousands of liters of water to get back his phone. Right. So it was like a silly story like this.
Indian official.
Dropped his phone. Like he was no one. He was like just a bureaucrat and everything.
Common person.
A government official in India has been suspended after he dropped his phone into a reservoir and then ordered the reservoir be drained of all its water. The guy arranged for generators to run for 3 days straight, emptying 2 million liters of water.
And street food can look quite silly, but it creates a full narrative on a country. And people think, the narrative will come on something very complex, like like Pakistan, Kashmir. It's too complex. Yeah. No one wants to understand those things. The food is dirty. Everyone understands. That's how you do narrative. You don't go on something very difficult to understand. You go at that level. So for the traditional media, the 3 pillars against India are authoritarianism. India is a dictatorship. That's what they want to portray, which is quite funny because India is a democracy. The democracy works quite well. Is it perfect? No. But compared to Europe, for example, where there is no democracy, everything is controlled by Brussels. Brussels is not elected.
Yeah.
No one elected Ursula von der Leyen.
Yeah.
She's the head of Europe, but she's not elected democratically.
Right.
And she controls the union. So there is no democracy in Europe.
At all.
And many countries, like if you take Russia or China, they are not democracies, but it's fine for them. Then there is a second thing about persecution of minorities. That's something very big about India. India is, if you read the foreign press, it looks like if you're a minority, people will shoot you in the street and everything. It's quite crazy.
That's not true.
It's not true.
Yeah.
It's maybe the most diverse country in the world in terms of, like regions and everything. And that
Yes.
in India, you have you have friends for 6, 7, 8 religions, like all of us.
Absolutely.
In many countries, no, you just have your religion and that's it.
Yeah.
And even for other types of minorities, India is very, like open and everything.
Yeah.
Is everything perfect? No, but compared to many countries, it's
Yeah.
quite great. And then the third thing is about being backward or, like poor and everything there. So the more India grows on GDP, the more they'll go in a slum and show something, like dirty or whatever. Does it exist again? Yes. If you want to find something bad in India, it
Yeah.
exists.
There's no end to it. You
there
can
is
keep
no
fighting
end.
it.
But
Yeah.
but
And
again,
it's
you
everywhere.
only show that. And again, let's be clear. I'm very pro freedom of press. I think any foreign journalist could write whatever they want about a country. I have no problem with that. If you want to write an article about a slum, I have no problem. But you cannot have only that. That's my issue. Open any big media like Washington Post, whatever things.
Okay.
Go on the page, type India, and see what they write. Now try to find a good article. Good luck. You'll find 1 out of 100, so it's 1%, 2% max. Do that at home, like anywhere,
Sure.
like
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do
good
that.
luck,
I seriously can't believe that. Like in today's time, I can't believe it.
When is the last time you read an article in a foreign media praising India for something good? Name one. And now if you ask any kid outside of India, what do you think about India in Japan, in Germany, whatever, they'll always tell you, oh, it's dirty, it's bad, it's dangerous, everything. Name 3 Indian companies. They'll name one, Tata, thinking they make cheap cars. That's the only thing. Name, like famous Indian person. They'll name no one alive. Maybe some Gandhi or whatever. But even honestly, the Prime Minister of India, no one knows who it is outside India. If you go in France and who's the Prime Minister of India, very few people will be able to give you a name. Because there is so much, like...
The layer.
blur and layers of like narrative put on top that it will be difficult.
And all of this is to destroy the economy.
India is impossible to destroy, but you can really keep it low and like take more time. Okay, instead of being there in 10 years, it will be 20 or 50, whatever. So that's the goal of there. Narrative warfare is not something that has a goal. It's just an activity you do all the time. It's like terrorism. Terrorism, you don't try to invade a country with terrorism. You just make the country ugly and dirty and difficult and everything becomes a problem.
But then the people sitting during those negotiations and the policy making, I get it that there is an impression that you grow up with. And so for India, they have this impression about we not being serious, we not being cultured, we not being clean, not being safe. I get that. But the people, let's say the presidents of the countries and prime ministers and the secretaries and ministers sitting there, don't they have other important things to think about, to negotiate with on that discussion? Are they really going to come from what the news is about the street food of India? Like, are they not going to be worried about the military intelligence? Are they not going to be worried about...
Yeah, at very high level, people know. India is a pretty girl in the room today because we have the largest, potential of middle class in the world right now.
Potential?
Middle class of consumers.
Yeah, of
so
course.
everyone wants to sell us something.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to come and buy my things, from US, Europe, anywhere in the world, people want. Even China now wants to sell things to Indians. So the people who run very large companies, they know about that. The presidents, they know about the strength of India. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
So it's not for them, the thing, but they want to keep us as customers, not at anything else. And but for the common people, for the masses, they don't want India to be able to export. You stop India to export products. The Make in India is under attack right now. You have a lot of videos on TikTok. For example, what they do is they'll show you a box of biscuits and the guy will say, oh, they are nice biscuits, turn the back and behind is written made in India. And then they'll show you the most dirty factory. I can send you the videos if you want to put in post-production.
Yeah.
The most dirty factory in India where people have no shoes and they bake some cookies, with their feet and everything and that. Well, it's not the same company at all.
Oh.
And they highlight, they show Make in India, and that's what you buy. So then, if you see a Make in India product, it's difficult. A bit like what 20 years ago Made in China was. You think, okay, I buy something made in China, it will break in 1 second to be cheap and everything and that.
Yeah.
And China had to spend billions and billions of dollars to change that image and also to improve the quality of their products.
Right.
But it was very painful for them to come back from that perception. And India is not doing any PR or whatever. So when we are attacked, we don't have a movement against that.
We don't have any counter to that.
No, there is no counter.
But who does this branding for the country at large? Who does this branding?
Secret services. That's the job of secret services. The problem in India is They are excellent guys. They are some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
The best counter-terrorism agency in the world is IB, by far. Like, everyone knows they're the best in the world. You look at the amount of attack we have in India compared to our neighbors, we have nothing.
Yeah.
We are insanely lucky to have such guys who protect us every day. There is no agency who's at the knee of the level of IB today in the world.
Wow.
They're the best. But the whole intel of India is focused on like safety of the Indian population, and they are very good at it, controlling the borders, everything that. But they don't have a mindset of going abroad and everything and doing those things. I'll give you a very simple example.
Yeah.
When I was in school, we used to be, because it's a military school, so we are still students, but we can be used. They can send us in operations.
Okay.
And except the first 3 months of school, everything we do is real and is a real operation. We don't do anything for fun. We don't do an exercise that has no goal.
Okay.
Everything is real. Everything is live.
Okay.
So you can have problems during the school by yourself. You're sent on the ground directly.
Oh my God.
So one day, the Minister of Sports of France came in school. So wow. He's very famous. He was a judoka, gold medalist and everything. His name is David Douillet. So he came there and said, why is coming here? We know nothing about sports and everything. And he said, guys, we need to get the Olympic Games for France, which happened like 2 years ago.
Oh.
So we will put 48 of you on the task to fight for Olympic Games. And I say, boss, we don't know anything about stadiums or anything of that. What's wrong with him? Then we understood. Winning the Olympic Games, and India is trying to get the games now in 2036, right? It's not about how you can build stadiums and everything. That's after you win the bet, because at the end it's a tender. You have 5, 6, 7 countries.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, you will organize. After that, you need to think about airports, hotels, stadiums, everything.
All of that.
But before that, it's just a paper. It's a PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's just concept.
And it's lobbying.
Yeah.
And it's lobbying. So then we realize that it's much easier to attack the others candidates than have a good, pitch for yourself. So for sure, they did a nice, presentation for France. But the main thing they did was to be sure that no one would vote for the others. And who's better than intelligence agencies for that? You don't need sports people for that. You need people who are tough. So then you started to float, campaign against this country. They have child labor, so they will build a stadium with kids. This country doesn't respect ecology and everything. They have one of the highest carbon consumption per inhabitant and everything. This guy is corrupted in that country. So if this country has it, it's because the IOC members are corrupted. So no IOC will vote if they think if they vote for him, for this country, they'll be accused of corruption. And then you make the life of other candidates hell. And say, oh, I don't want to vote for them, everything. That's how it works.
But then will it not work both ways? Will
for sure.
Some other country will
everyone does that.
Vote to you?
Yeah. Everyone does that.
So how did they get the Olympics then? I mean, did somebody not vote
You
them
need to
out?
be better than the others. You need to have more people, more money, more everything. That's it.
Be stronger in your
You need to be strong, yeah. And honestly, those 6 countries are names that are scary. When they put some, effort on the table, it's difficult to... to fight back.
So there's more money and time that is spent on building or killing the narrative of another country.
Yeah.
That's more important.
Yeah.
And this happens across the world.
Yeah, everywhere. It's
and
every
India
day.
doesn't spend much attention to this.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
But then our current government is way more active on social media or even in offline media.
Yeah.
So when they're able to set up a certain narrative within India, why are they not setting up the narrative outside of India?
I think I agree with you. They are very good. The current government, they understand social media, they understand media.
Yeah.
Even if you look, the pictures look nice.
Yeah.
They have good communication, the taglines, they understand that whole thing.
And they're everywhere.
They are very professional.
Yeah.
But they only care about elections in India. They only care about reporting what they do for the Indian people. They don't care about the rest of the world. I give you a very simple thing. Go to MEA or whatever. Look at the people or BJP or like PMO, whatever. Who speaks Spanish? Who speaks Chinese? Who speaks another language? So they don't know. Ask them who's the most famous meme, the new trend and everything. Ask a very simple question. Which Indian government official has TikTok on his phone? It's the biggest media in the world. They can complain once in a while about BBC, but BBC is nothing compared to TikTok. People don't realize the level of TikTok. And people sometimes say, oh, but we have Instagram in India. Instagram is nothing compared to TikTok. Because your kids will spend 1 hour in a day on Instagram. People spend 6 hours on TikTok. The average time spent on TikTok in the West is like another level. Many kids have 30, 40 hours a week on TikTok. It's a job. It's a full-time job. They spend 6 hours, 7 hours a day on TikTok. So the amount of content consumed there is huge compared to Instagram. It's the biggest media in the world.
Why is TikTok not available in India then?
I think it's a good thing. I'm not saying that India should allow TikTok. I think not having TikTok, I see the damage of TikTok, especially on the young people, but also on not that young people. In the rest of the world, it's very bad. It's very making you dumb. So I'm very happy. It happened after the clash we had with China in 2020. So it's 6 years now. TikTok was banned. Great decision by Indian government. I have nothing against that. But now it's a void. It's the only country in the world without TikTok. Even Nepal now has TikTok again for the last 1 year or something. So imagine it's the biggest platform in the world, but we are not here. And the amount of content pushed. In fact, India is very popular on TikTok in the bad way.
What else are the narratives about India that are negative?
So like anti-Make in India, a lot of attacks are against the food, the Make in India. We start to see about other things. I have a prediction. I think the next thing that will happen will be attack on Indian medicine. Because India is a super mega power of medicine.
Yeah.
All the generic medicine all over the world. If you go to South America, Africa, Southeast Asia, it's manufactured in India. India is very, very big in things. In the new FTA with Europe, the main thing that will enter Europe is Indian medicine. And they are very good quality and very affordable. You can get for like, not like 20% less, but like 98% less than US, like for the price you pay in US for Indian cure. It's huge. Like in US, the price of medicine is like totally crazy. It's exorbitant, exactly. So I think the next attack will be on Indian medicine. They'll try to push people away from Indian medicine.
No, so what we see here is that there are great relationships that are happening.
That's true.
Because of him traveling.
Yeah.
Right? The friendships.
That's at a very top level. That's at the level of other head of states, and that he's very good. He's really good. Like the relationship he has with France is fantastic. He built a crazy good relationship with France. I'm not a big fan of President Macron at all, like most of the people who know France. But like the way the Prime Minister of India did a relationship with him was extremely good. But that's a top level.
And it's not trickling down to
the rest of the population has no clue and everything. And if tomorrow they show him on TV for 1 second, like a new attack against Prime Minister of India is on Israel and the support of against Palestine and everything.
Yeah.
So he say, okay, India is helping Israel. They are very good allies, so they are promoting the genocide. So India is a genocide state, everything that, which is a bit stretched out, but that's the new thing. I make sometimes videos in French for like podcasts like yours and everything, and I have some good views. I get 2 lakhs views, 3 lakhs views, everything and that. Read the comments. You just type my name, you read the comments. A lot of comments like, how can this guy defend a country that, like pushing a genocide and everything? Because in France, the only geopolitical thing they care about is Israel-Palestine. They don't care about Somalia. They don't care about Myanmar. They don't care about Taiwan or whatever. They care a bit about Iran, whatever now, because of the price of gas, and they don't want the price of gas to go up.
Yeah.
But on the ground, the only conflict they follow in the West, mostly, it's Israel and Palestine. That's the only thing they know about. There are 27 wars in the world right now, currently. Yeah. That's the only one they care about. That war is very important in terms of media. It's not an important conflict. Nothing will happen. Like whatever the outcome of this conflict is, very sad for the people living there, but nothing will happen. It's not an important thing. Iran, whatever, Taiwan are important things. If Taiwan is taken tomorrow, the face of the world will change a bit. That part of the world, there is nothing there. But in terms of media and perception, it's very important because the power, both sides, from the Israeli side and the meta-Muslim world, I would say, are very, very strong. And you have very good agencies behind pushing that.
So tell me a little bit about your background of what your childhood has been like.
So my family moved from Varanasi when I was 4, and my father opened a mandir in Paris when I was 5, 6, something like this.
What was it like?
No, the thing is, everything about me was different. Ram is not a name that people have. Divedi is a last name that no one has.
Right.
I'm Indian. There was no Indian in France at this time. I know a lot of Indians who used to be NRIs, grew up in London or California or Dubai. You have a ton of Indians around. In France, there is no Indians, like it doesn't exist. You just have the people from Pondicherry who are in some parts, but I didn't have any around me.
Which year would that be?
I was talking about all the 90s. Okay. My parents moved in 89. And then you have people from Mauritius who are Bhojpuri. They come from Bihar 200 years ago, and they are Hindus and everything. But same also, they are not in those areas. Because they came a long time ago, so they had time to adapt and go in better places and everything. They are smart people. And my religion was, no one knew Hinduism. What is that religion? No one knew. Like the main religion is Islam in those areas, and not the main religion of France is Islam overall.
Christianity is not the main
religion? No one
religion?
is Christian in France. Go in a church on a Sunday morning, you won't see no one. Some old people, 80 plus and everything. I think it's a very big misconception to think that people in Europe are Christian. You have some countries where they are. If you go to Portugal, Poland, everything, they are still very Christian today. But countries like France or anything, or Belgium, it's not Christian at all.
Then what religion do they follow?
Nothing. They are atheistic. They are atheists. They have no religion. They'll maybe go to the church one day in their life when they get married because they like the picture and the white dress and everything. But otherwise, very, very few Christian.
Would you say that they're very liberal and very open-minded and not a religious-minded people, or how are they?
Depends. The white people, they are very open-minded. It's cool, honestly. Except recently, with all the campaigns, we can talk about that later on TikTok and everything, the image of India is starting to go down.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
After the other communities, it's very different. For example, if you take the Africans, and I cannot put all the Africans in the same bag, but there are many things. If you look at a woman who's like today, let's say 50 plus, she will have a very good image of India because she watched a lot of Bollywood. This generation, they didn't have any movie in those countries at this time. So Bollywood was the only cinema they had. They had those, like copy CDs and everything and that. So you say you're from India, they'll talk about Shah Rukh Khan. They can sing a little bit of, like Hindi songs and everything. It's quite nice.
Wow.
So they'll be very nice, like those aunties and everything.
Good,
this time,
Good impression.
Yeah.
What changed that impression?
No, because you're different. They don't like difference, I would say. Everything in Ghetto is super organized. You have a racial, like kind of ladder. You have the white at the bottom, the Algerian at the top. And the Indians, we were just above the white, and the Chinese, whatever others. So that's why we had to like team up together and fight.
So you said you were like a minority in the ghetto that you were in, right? Because you were the only Indian family there. Right? But what was the majority? Was Arabs and
Arab number one, black number two.
Black number two.
Yeah.
So the fact that they control is because of their population. They're just so large in number. Right? Anything else that they have?
It's demography. After, you have all types of people inside. Most of the people, if you look at them, they are hardworking people. They wake up at 5 a.m. They go clean, like the office buildings in La Défense, this business district. If you go at 5 a.m., you will just see black women who will just clean and everything there. So many of them, most of them, in fact, are very nice people, hardworking and everything. But there is a part also who's really involved in like other activities, I would say, and they control the place. And they are the ones who have the muscle and the weapons. So they control the place.
So when you say they control the place, help us visualize. We haven't seen that life. What do you mean by that? And what happens in a ghetto?
If you take a ghetto in France, so in each city you have multiple ghettos. It's not one city, one ghetto. So my city, when I was a kid, had 25 of them. It's a 80,000 people city, so a bit less than 1 lakh, you can imagine. And if you go to a bad ghetto, you'll have a security system around the ghetto.
Okay.
So you'll have kids who are like 13 years old, and they'll be on little cycle, and they'll roam around. And they'll at this time they are talkie-walkie, they have cell phones and everything. At my time there was no cell phone. And they will coordinate with the guys inside if they see cops coming and everything. Most of the time you will see on one wall all the number plates of the cops of the 5-6 cities around. So they know all the number plates. So if the cops come, they know exactly there are cops. And but mostly
what are they protecting?
The drug dealing.
The drug.
Yeah, it's cocaine.
Oh my God. So we're saying that like since everybody's aware about it, but why does the government has to let it be? I know they're not allowing it.
Yeah.
But it's aware that everybody's aware. But why does it continue? Like I'm just trying to understand the psychology. Of course, crime is everywhere. India has crime. US has crime. Everywhere we have crime. But what's the psychology there? With so much happening.
I'll answer your question, but just in India, there is no such thing as that level. In India, there is crime for sure. There are bad people and everything. Maybe some pockets of India, you have that, but I live in Delhi for the last 13, 14 years. I never saw in Delhi, even in the worst areas of Delhi, people roaming around with baklava, kalashnikovs, whatever. People in France have RPGs, like rocket launchers. They never used it, but they have that. You give me 2,000 euros, I can get you anything you want in 1 second in Paris, whatever, Kalashnikov. It's open, like you can get anything. In India, you'll be scared, everything. Yeah. People who have a gun, it's a made-up gun smuggled from Pakistan, whatever thing and everything. It's a big deal, like to have a gun here.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question, the problem of the government is they know about it. When I was a kid, you only had 2 areas that were very dangerous in France, was Marseille and Paris. That's it. But now it's everywhere. Every time in the news, you open, if you know, like the mustard of Dijon. In Dijon, you open the news and you have the gangs of Algerian versus the Chechen opening fire with Kalashnikovs and having a civil war in the street for no reason. You have places known for one cheese, and you have a war gang between like immigrants from that place against that place and everything. It's super weird. And the government, the problem is they don't want to touch it because they know that if they try to solve the problem, it will fight back. So there are multiple layers of control there. One is it's a huge taboo. Honestly, I would not even be able to talk about that if I was in France, but it's corruption. Like all of those cities are corrupted, crazy corrupted. So the gangs pay, they run the elections.
They run the government.
If you want to be elected, go to the gangs first, and they have unlimited cash. One street, if you have a good street, you can make 1 CR per day. Like a good, area, you can make what? A bad area, you'll still make 30, 40 lakhs a day. Yeah. So the amount of money you have is and it's pure margin. It costs nothing. It's just margin. It's drugs. No tax. And there is no tax, everything. Yeah. Money laundering became super easy. So they have many ways to do money laundering. And they all live in Dubai. So they are safe, the drug lords. So if they want to pay, the elections of a candidate and everything, it's very easy. So then once the guy is elected, he will never harm them. And then the thing is, in fact, it's a weird thing, is the more you have gangs and the more you have control of the Muslim Brotherhood, the more peaceful your city is. Because their agenda is such that they don't want petty violence and everything. So you need to increase the level of your control of the gangs, and in exchange, your city will be more peaceful. Every time you have a riot and everything, it's a way to negotiate with the government. Who stops the riots? Why after, you have 1 day of riot and in 1 second it stops. No, it never fades like this. It stops in 1 second. Because then the government goes to the gangs and say, can you stop it, please? And we'll let you, name one guy. It's okay, my brother is in jail. Okay, we'll bring him out of jail. And then in 1 second, they go in the street and say, you stop right now.
So in the intelligence, we've again, it's a very filmy idea of intelligence that we have, right? It's like a very sci-fi kind of a thing of, exactly like these weak signals that people catch. And then there is some goofy things that happens. Take us through, maybe an example. I don't need the names if they're critical. But what really some examples of what kind of projects that you guys have worked on in intelligence? What is the kind of brief that you get, or if you develop your own brief? And then how the story unfolds and what kind of impact have you been able to cause with that?
Sure. So intelligence, for sure, is very popular in pop culture. There's a lot of movies about it and everything. For sure, the movies are fake and there is no one called James Bond in the world. What it does could be real, but it would be made by 200 people over 2 years. And in the movie, it's him who jumps and everything and does that in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a very slow world. It's not as fast and everything as what you see in movies and everything.
All that doesn't happen.
Yeah. It can happen, but it will be very planned for, like a long time and everything. It will be very thought. In those movies, they think, I'll go there and open fire and everything.
Yeah.
Before firing one bullet, it happens, but you have a long decision, process and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 job in intelligence.
Okay.
One work is sourcing information, is like manipulating sources. So sources can be people who talk to you. They know they talk to you or not. Sometimes they know who they are talking to. Sometimes they have no clue. They think you're just a student, but they give you information because you're a pretty girl. So they want to talk to you.
Okay.
So that's how you collect information. Can be online. There is this thing called OSINT, which is very popular. It's open source intelligence. You can gather information by
What is it?
Open source intelligence. People talk online on social media, everything, so you can have information. Then as intelligence, you can also have access to cyber warfare. You can also have access to information which is blocked, but you know to break that wall and have this information behind. So all that is your information. Your sourcing. And now you have big software like Palantir or ChatVision and everything that are very popular to also automate those actions of gathering information. There are intelligence software and everything. I'm not very good at that. It's not really my biggest interest. I'm doing it now for India because it's needed. Then you have analysis. It's people who try to put all the things together. So they'll take the weak signal and say, that's here and that's here. Is there a connection? Sometimes there is no connection. It's just the biggest bias in intelligence is like trying to see a pattern everywhere.
Mm.
That's very dangerous because you will feel a conspiracy in everything.
Huh.
You should never do that. You need to be sure also that something happened. And there are ways of knowing that. We have algorithm that if we have that many signals from that many sources and we weight the credibility of a source by something and that, it's a mathematical formula.
Oh.
We know that roughly the information is true at 92%. We never say 0, 100. It's a world of gray intelligence.
Right.
It's a world of no certainty, no absolute or anything. But you can have access to say, okay, that's very possible, and you have something.
And like you're saying, it's like you have to be invested on everybody for like 25 years.
Which is a big
and
thing.
Hope that they make a mistake.
Yeah.
And you set up.
If you look at Indians who go in US or UK, mostly US, when they reach Harvard or MIT or Stanford, the US agencies know exactly who they are, who's their family, what they can do and everything, and they'll be hooked for life. You study in the US, you're done. It's that you're still free.
Yeah.
But we will always use leverage on you because one day you might become the CEO of a big American company, or you can be back in India. You can be an important person in business, banking, politics, whatever. So they will always follow you, track you, who you're friend with. They know if you have some weird habits, if you have, like something that you don't want to talk about, if you have a problem, whatever.
That's where you compromise.
There you can compromise people from the beginning. Because the day the guy is big, it's difficult. At this time, he will have protection, he'll think about it, whatever. When the guy is 27,
you have nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose, you're careless and everything, it's fine. That's why they will ask, okay, that Indian kid who's in that batch, you need absolutely to follow. So they will go to a student who's a white American girl and say, okay, you're getting married, invite that guy for your wedding, he will still have a link. When you travel for India, take some holidays in India, and when you land in India, like try to meet, understand what they are doing and everything. And for you, it's just a batchmate. He's just a school guy and everything.
That much of counseling happens, huh?
Some countries who are not very big, they don't have a huge thing, but on some topics, they are insanely good. Like, for example, one country that everyone is scared of in the world right now is Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has the best narrative psyops guys in the world. Their army is worth nothing. Geopolitics worth nothing. They have no high-end weapons or whatever, but they just focus on that. And they do the most incredible destabilization operations in the world on narrative and everything. They are super, super good. Lobbying, number one in the world, Qatar. Number one lobbying country in the world. They have the biggest budget. Brussels, Washington, D.C., whatever.
They have the biggest what?
Budget. They have so much cash. People talk about George Soros and everything and that he's trying to change narrative and everything. That George Soros is just an executant. It's a company. He's a guy, you go to him, you give him money, he does what you say. His main customer is Qatar. So when you see George Soros, don't imagine he's an agenda of one billionaire from US. He's not even that rich. He's rich, but not that rich. But he has unlimited capital behind him for operations. Turkey is very good. They are becoming very, very good. They are super happy that the Middle East is at problems right now because they want to become the new Dubai. Also, they are changing the tax system. If you look at where in the world you have the most anti-India conferences, where in the world? Turkey. Number one. Every 2 weeks, they have a huge conference. They invite all those journalists and everything.
Against India
and everything. They are really, really good.
What do they have against India?
It's a long story. But they don't want India to thrive at all. They have a big problem with India. And they want to antagonize India. To rise with Turkey as the new, how you call that, Ottoman Empire. But they need to have an enemy for that. They tried China for a long time, and China told them, no, you don't joke with us. So now India is the next target.
What is it that they don't want India to have? The progress and the growth and the power, but why?
No, they want to see that the threat of their vision of the world is India, and they want to antagonize their community against India. One reason they want to push India is not because of India, it's because of Pakistan. There is one country in the world, only one country in the world, who's very known for one thing. They are okay to sell their nuclear arsenal. It's Pakistan. They tried 4 times to do it. They tried to sell it to Libya. They tried to sell it to Iraq, to Iran, and to North Korea. It's very well documented. There is a Wikipedia page explaining you how they used to have a flat in Dubai to do meetings to try to sell their nuclear bomb. So Pakistan, on top of being a country that has the bomb, which is dangerous by itself, is totally okay to give it to someone else for money. And the reserve of cash of Pakistan is like, India is what, $700 billion at any time? Pakistan is 10. So they are like 5 days of war of collapsing their economy. That's why they need an IMF loan every day and everything and whatever.
Yeah.
They are at the verge of, like collapsing in terms of finance. So they sell anything they can. A big business they do is selling their women. Chinese men you can buy for $40,000. Pakistani, pretty Punjabi girl. 1,000 will go for the family. 39,000 will go for the guy in the middle, the intermediary. They sell drugs, they sell guns, they sell, like everything you can buy over there. It's a country to be sold. And I'm saying not, like I'm an Indian, I make fun of them. It's very sad, like people suffer from it and everything.
But you're saying it on data.
It's data, and everything is accessible and everything. Now, they are not today at the level where they have to sell their nuclear bombs. They still have a bit of buffer. So Qatar and Turkey, they are giving them weapons, whatever things, to say, go fight India. The chance of fighting India is 0. They'll be crushed by India anytime. But if they have to do it, they will, like if last year the war escalated, a war cost $1 billion a day, roughly. If you look at what happened in in Iran, everything, costs $1 billion a day. You need to move troops, petrol, ammunition, this, that, logistics, feeding the soldiers, everything. And Pakistan has a big army. They have a very, very big army. So it will cost them $1 billion a day. They have 10 billion of cash, 10 days. If they had a day for 10 days with India, it would be over. They would have no money. Then what happened? Then they have to sell it. Who will buy from them? Many countries won't touch that because international regulations, everything, whatever things. But the country who wants the bomb is Turkey and Qatar. They will buy.
Also China.
China, they already have the bomb. They don't need Pakistan for that. Turkey and Qatar.
Yeah, no, they don't want the bomb, but they will be funding Pakistan against India.
Yeah, okay, but the funding of China and Pakistan is totally different. It's for the Chinese-Pakistan economic corridor. It's for access to the port. They don't play on the same card at all. Like Pakistan is a very central country. They are in front of like the Middle East. They have the Irani world. They have the Chinese world on top. They have the Indian world.
Location is
they have a very, very, honestly, this country could be an incredible country. It would be incredible.
Yeah.
They have access to a deep water, like ports. They have resources.
They've got one of the best locations to grow with.
Yeah, but they do nothing about that. They get money from IMF. They send their kids to UK. They buy villas in Dubai. And they try to bother India, which will never bring them anything. Because it's about Pakistan, it's an elite, bourgeoisie at the top of the country who's looting their people, and that's it. I saw the same thing in many African countries. It's the same thing as, African warlords. With a bit more, population and money, but same thing.
So the good image, the parallel is between a good image and a scary image. Like standing in today, let's say US doesn't have a good image today. At least eyes have opened up, right? But it still controls.
In fact, being seen as a bad guy is not, it's not bad.
It's not a bad thing.
When you negotiate, when you decide how do you want to be seen, there are countries like South Korea, skincare, K-pop, I'm a cute country. New Zealand, cute country. Switzerland, cute country. But some countries don't want to be seen as cute. They want to be seen as strong. In fact, sometimes they wish to be seen as more strong than they are. If you look at China, that's their thing. They want to be seen as strong and good businessman and being able to execute anything they want.
Yeah, they don't want
They
to
never
be
try to become like, Chinese are so cute and everything and that. They want to be seen as strong, more strong than they are, in fact. So that works. It's a bit the same thing about US. People know, like, they don't respect rule of law very often. People understand that there is this concept in US for the Americans, what is mine, what is yours is negotiable. So, like, they'll never compromise of what they have, but whatever else of the rest of the world, they'll come and try to see if they can grab something or whatever.
Yeah.
And they are fine because they have Hollywood to make it, cool. And Hollywood doesn't want to make the Americans say, no, we don't go to war, we are peaceful. No, they are super dangerous.
Yeah.
If you look at any Hollywood movie, they fire, they kill, they everything.
Yeah.
But they have the right to do it because it's US, is the best country in the world. And what will you do?
But they've spent last 50 years building that narrative, right?
But we didn't start in India.
Yeah.
And even if we talk about movie, I have a bit of a problem with Dhurandhar as a movie. Not saying it's a bad movie, not saying it's not true, not saying it should not be done. But that's the only movie we have. And again, the only enemy is Pakistan. And I talk a bit about Pakistan. It's not a real enemy of India. It's not a real enemy for India.
Yeah.
They have $10 billion of cash. They have nothing,
No, but they're supported by people who will keep
but
funding
they
them.
have we have much bigger enemies in the world, harming India much more. For sure, again, what they do is visible. It's like it's with blood, it's at the border, we touch them, we have a history which is very painful with them and everything and that. So, but we focus too much attention on that. When I hire
That's very
people,
deep-rooted, it's a very personal kind
exactly,
of a thing.
When I hire people, I always have a question which is, what is the biggest threat for India?
I'm going to ask you
And
that.
everyone who reply Pakistan, I don't hire the person.
Right.
So now I gave the answer, but I will change my question because it's not true, and it's just something we keep in mind. And we are also kept in that, like conflict. But
to keep ourselves
there is
busy.
nothing to win fighting.
Sorry?
There is nothing to win fighting with them.
There's nothing to win.
We overpassed them decades ago. There is nothing special.
Yeah.
While the main attacks we have are from countries who will shake our hands and have a smile to us. I'll give you an example. You'll understand. One of the biggest media in the world is Washington Post. You want something open, I'll give you something that anyone can check any second.
Right.
Washington Post is one of the worst media against India. They trash India left, right, center. They write horrible articles about India. We highlighted them many times. They have journalists who are 0%er. They write 0% article. You open Washington Post, you type India, you read the article, you see how they want to portray India. Who owns Washington Post? Jeff Bezos, right? Jeff Bezos comes to India. He says India is great. Buy my products. I open an AI center in India. Please buy my Amazon products. It's great. He's go to the wedding of the Ambanis. It's nice, everything. So that's exactly what India is doing. You have a guy comes to your country, you give him a red carpet treatment. He's a great businessman. I have nothing against him.
Sure.
We give him land, we give him tax write-off, everything, all those things, everything there. And that guy is spitting at our face every single day in the media he owns.
You've left me very confused now. And it's from a very factual and a data approach, where I am is this is not verifiable by data. It's all perception and it's all ambiguity.
That's the beauty of that, because it's so behind the lines that people don't see it. That's why the first thing I did when I started the foundation was to give objective data for people to believe. Because if I tell you there is a conspiracy from Qatar and everything, that people won't really see it.
It's like gossip.
So now I try to give a lot of data. So for example, I publish all the articles written about India. I'll do the 0%er and you can check. You can go on their account and see all the articles they wrote and see if you don't agree with me on one article, I'm open. TikTok, the same thing. I show you all the videos with views. Maybe you don't have access to TikTok. Call your cousin who lives in Vancouver. Ask him to check. He will give you the same data. Last week, there was a big conference in Brussels for the Member of Parliament organized by Pakistan, by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Pakistan and the Ambassador of Pakistan in Europe, in Brussels, to explain how India is weaponizing the waters there. I published the invitation because one of my guys got the invitation. I published a transcript of the conference. I gave all the information, who was there. I put all the names and everything in that. And that's visible, now. So I need to expose those things with data because otherwise people, they think it's something in the air. And I can tell you the next narrative against India will be on the Indus Waters Treaty because India will do it and we should do it. Great move from India. But no, they won't let them, you won't cut the water and they'll be happy.
It's been happening for sure, but to understand that it's such a master plan that some people, a handful of people probably, have put years of their life to doing that.
Yeah. After, don't imagine there is one master plan with one guy who has a full plan to destabilize India. It's a lot of different organizations with different budgets, different agenda, who do it, small fishes grabbing you there and there. So they'll find a gap, they go somewhere and they grab something.
And the common thing between all of them is that they don't want India to be the superpower.
Yeah. And not even a superpower, even an alternative is not good. Because by the geopolitics, the meta of the world is to have a polarized world between basically one side, China, Russia, and one side, the West, and the rest of the world. Having a country that says, I want to be independent. In fact, if you look, the most dangerous thing that India ever said, the day India became scary for the rest of the world, it was during the COVID, was when India talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat. That day it was finished. A country who thinks they can live on their own, it's a disaster. Because that means that other countries can think like this. Nigeria can think like this. Indonesia can think like this. And then if you start to think, okay, I can be independent, I don't need IMF and World Bank, I don't need the central banks to rule my life. I can have in my own country my food, my semiconductor, like from the lowest level of having
Everything.
bananas to having semiconductors, I can do everything. That's scary.
Where did Europeans go wrong? They were very strong. All of them, were superpowers in their own
Yeah.
sense. Where did the guard drop?
World War I, they lost their best people. It was a butchery. If you look at France, there was 40 million people in France at this time. So you had maybe 10 million male in age of fighting. 6 million got killed or injured. So everyone, like if you go to any village in France, you have a list of all the kids who got killed. So after World War I in France, you had women, children, and old people. So it removed a lot of things. In fact, it's a bit the same thing with the Russians during World War II. They lost some. Like I think people born in 1923 in Russia, this generation almost doesn't exist. They all died during World War II because they were like the young kids at this time and they were in the front line. So World War I was a big thing, and World War I is the time where US became a superpower. It was the shift for them. And World War II was a nail of the coffin against a continent at war and everything. And they're very smart. They leveraged the thing with the Marshall Plan after, World War II. They made the creation of European Union, which is a nonsense. You take those countries, they fought for 2,000 years, and then you say, no, you will remove your borders, have the same currency, and be together. It's the best way to make them. You have the way of India, you divide, or you put them together, then nothing will happen. And everyone blocking each other.
And you control.
And you control them because you are power above.
You're the top boss.
If you look at Brussels, and I say it's public because in Brussels, all the lobbying activities is public. You need to declare yourself, you have a badge to access the parliament. If you look at who are the biggest lobbies in Europe, you could imagine, it might be companies from Germany, from Italy, from Spain, no, US. Number one lobbies are all US companies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, like the usual suspects. They have hundreds and hundreds of people. You have like between 30,000 to 50,000 lobbyists in Brussels. 10,000 are Americans. You have thousands of Chinese. Pakistan has a good amount. India has zero.
None?
I mean, us, that's it. We are the only one doing it. A bunch of guys, that's it.
But what was talking about Operation Sindoor? What was this thing about the women commanders and placing them from different a Hindu commander and a Muslim commander? I mean, that was narrative setting, right?
Yeah, but for us, not for the rest of the world.
So it never reached the rest of the world.
No one knows about what you're saying. In India, everyone knows.
Yeah.
And we consider that because we know it's something known by the rest of the world, but no one heard about that. In fact, no one watched this thing. It was a few days after. The thing is, you need to understand there is a time in media. You have a timing and everything. So when the operation happened, it was one day before the election of a new pope, right? When that news will come in the media, everyone will talk about that because some South Asians fighting at the border for the last 75 years, it's okay.
No big
But a new pope, it's something important for the rest of the world. So you knew that you just had this time before. So Pakistan came, saturated the space during that 24 hours before, and let us now speak. But speak, you have to compete in foreign media with the pope. How will you do? No one cares.
So just last thing, just to conclude it on a learning note, since you come from the space of investigations and understanding deeper narratives, India is fighting a lot of crises internally, any which ways. But from a geopolitics standard, where is India? Are we safe? Are we heading a doomsday?
In terms of internal stability?
External.
With which country?
Oh, like that. Oh, okay. US?
US, yeah, that's one of the biggest threats for India right now because they really don't want to recreate the problem they had. I mean, they don't want India to be the next China. It will be a nightmare for them. And so the two problems US have with us is one, they don't want us to be China, and they don't want us to give ideas to other countries to be sovereign and independent and not use that. And overall, we are also part of the anti-dollar movement, everything that. In the last 2 years, I started to receive a lot of invitations to talk in the rest of the world about how India is becoming anti-dollars and that. And people use what I could say to validate their point, to move, for example, from to move to gold, for example. So yeah, US is a problem, but can they harm India deeply? Yes, but they don't understand. US agencies, you see, the biggest enemy of France is US. If you ask any CIA guy who in your life you hate, they say the DGSE, the French are the worst.
Yeah.
They are fine with the Russian, they are fine with the Chinese, but the French, it's nightmare for them. The two biggest crises US had in their history, recent history, are created by the French.
Yeah.
The most spying on US companies made by the French. So for them, the French are the worst.